Okay, welcome to lesson 2 on how to read tarot cards. So, reading tarot cards, there goes my piano, is kind of like learning to read a language. You don't learn to read a language by learning all the words in the language. You learn to read a language by reading it and speaking it, and the words, you kind of maybe work on your vocabulary as you go. So I decided not to go through each card and what each card means. I did tell you that you should maybe get a book, maybe watch these videos and look at what the traditional meanings are, but also intuit yourself what the meanings are. These pictures tell a story. Also, numerology is present in here. The different numbers mean different things. I'm going to go over a couple of things, though, that we do. A couple of things that are like sort of patterns in the cards. So we have the court cards. Like I told you last time, we have the major arcana and the minor arcana. Today I'm going to go over court cards. So I'll take some out here. The court is the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. And every suit has a page, a knight, a queen, and a king. Okay? Okay, I think I went over the 4 suits and what they mean. The wands are like beginning energy, fiery energy, not that stable, not that long lasting. That's our wands, okay? Next we have our cups, emotional energy associated with water, emotional relationships, feelings. There's a 3 of cups. Okay, looking at my court card still. Okay, and next we have swords. Swords are air energy. Here's our Knight of Swords here. Communication, also war and fighting. So the suit of swords has a lot of difficult cards in it, but communication too, words, traveling, movement. And lastly, we have pentacles. There's our King of Pentacles. Pentacles are the most solid. If we were talking about time, pentacles would be the longest lasting things. They would be the, if you were asking about time, they would represent the longest amount of time, the things that are most stable. Also, pentacles are associated with money. There's our 4 of Pentacles. Money, things of this earth, wealth, security, that kind of stuff is associated with pentacles. So still going through and just getting out my court cards. Okay, so when you're doing a reading, a court card that is a page, a knight, a queen, or a king, most often is referring to, here I got a page and a king here, most often is referring to a person, frequently is referring to a person. Sometimes it can be referring to the querent, that would be the person that you're doing the reading for, but mostly it's not that, it's mostly a person in the person's life. If it comes up in a position of self, right, for the querent, then it means that the querent is expressing the qualities of that card at the moment. But what I mean to say is that the court cards are people. So let's go over the pages. The pages are the babies of the court. Let's see if I got all of them. I do, I have all of them. So here I have for you the Page of Wands, okay? The baby of the court of the suit of wands. I've got the Page of Swords, same thing, the baby. Page of Pentacles, the baby. And there's my Page of Cups. So pages represent, they can represent a young person. They often represent a young person. They sometimes represent actual children. The querent's children or a child in the querent's life. Sometimes they don't represent a child, but if they're referring to age, they are representing somebody who's much younger than the querent, okay? Also, in general, they represent an immature type of energy of whatever they're holding. So the Page of Cups, you know, he's the page of love, the page of emotion, but he's sort of immature about it. He wants to be loved, but doesn't necessarily know how to give love. He wants to start love, but hasn't really thought about how to make sure his love is good and lasting and pure and strong. But it is an innocence, right? So the purity is there, but he's not experienced. He's sort of an inexperienced lover. And the Page of Cups can be female too. Really, gender doesn't really apply, especially with pages and knights. It does not apply. With kings and queens, sometimes it more does, but certainly with pages, no. Pages can also mean messages, but when they do mean messages, they are a one-way message. They are a message going somewhere that doesn't necessarily always land. They bring a message, but don't necessarily bring one back to the king or queen, okay? Pages go out with a message, but they're not smart enough or trusted enough to bring a message back. So they may come out and say, hey, the king would like to say that he loves you and he's sorry for what he has done. But then if you are returning with, okay, well, tell the king to go fuck himself, well, the page doesn't really have the authority or the understanding or the willingness to take that back to the king. All right, so went over pages. So Page of Wands, this guy, he's, again, we're talking about a little baby wand, right? So Page of Wands, we're talking about the most immature of the court cards page and the most fleeting of the suits, wands. So wands are fiery, passionate energy that dies out pretty quickly. You look at a fire, it goes out quickly. My candle went out, very little effort. That's a Page of Wands, right? So a Page of Wands in your life could be a person that, you know, flashes in and out real fast. It's a person who is fiery, but doesn't really know how to keep the flame alive, okay? Page of Swords, this guy, Page of Swords, he's an immature communicator. He's not a brutal communicator. That would be the Knight. But we're talking, swords are communication. They can also be aggression and war, remember, because words can, you know, be miscommunicated and be warlike. But he's just an immature communicator. In reverse, he's a spy. He's checking you out. Even in the upright, this is the kind of guy that is trying to get information, because swords are also about information, trying to get information, and always not in the most mature way or in a way that's a two-way street. Because remember I said pages are more of a one-way street energy rather than a two-way street energy. Okay. Next we have my man, the Page of Pentacles. Frequently this represents a student. It's somebody who's trying to lay down a foundation, wants to lay down a foundation, doesn't really have the resources yet. Again, one-way messages. These messages are going to be about pentacle type things, money, security, that kind of thing. All right, so those are my pages. Let me go over my knights. The knights are people that are taking it up a notch. And I have every knight here except for the Knight of Cups. I'm going to look for him while I talk about the knights. So the knights are also messages and communication, but they're two-way communication. The knight can give a message and also has the trust and authority from the king to take one back, okay? The knights are fast-moving. They are fast-moving or slow-moving depending on their suit. So remember I said the wands are pretty fast, right? Pentacles are much more slow. All the knights are riding on horses. Okay, so here's our knights. They're all riding on horses, okay? So if the Knight of Cups comes up, this is a really romantic person in the querent's life. This is somebody who wants to offer love, who wants to receive love. This person could be very charming. You can think of this person as a Romeo. This person, this knight can also represent an apology. This person could be, they're coming in with their heart on their sleeve. That's the Knight of Cups, okay? Remember, Knight's movement, right? So it's a person who's coming in or out of the person's life. The Knight of Wands, who I probably should have gone over before the Cups, remember, Wands kind of started out. They're the ideas, the fire, the energy. The Knight of Wands comes in with passion. He's a fast-moving knight. He comes in and out. He's known for being the player of the tarot deck. I don't consider him a player, really, unless he's reversed. Then he might be a bit of a player. He also just might be a bit of a dummy when it comes to being able to, like, manage new ideas. He might not be totally player. He just might be kind of a dimwit. But that's the Knight of Wands. All right. Knight of Swords comes in with piercing communication. If you can look, he's like writing really fast. He wants to tell you something. He also wants you to tell him something. He wants to communicate. Sometimes he wants to fight. Usually he's not very diplomatic with his words. He's not a Queen of Swords. He's not a King of Swords who's had some time and maturity to get diplomatic. He's also not a Page of Swords, not like just trying to collect the information one way or just give it one way, like, you know, send a text and never call you back kind of thing. He wants to go back and forth, right? But he doesn't have the maturity to do it right. That's why he's sort of a warlike person. He can wind up starting a fight that he didn't mean to start. He can also wind up starting a fight that he can't win. Unlike the King of Swords, he can start a fight that he can't win. The King of Swords won't start a fight unless he can win it, and he will win it. He's, you know, just sort of not that mature yet. He's not there yet. Here's the Knight of Pentacles. I will tell you that in my experience, the Knight of Pentacles is somebody who really means well, who wants to do something that is like very solid and cares very much about like what they're doing. They're going to really put a lot of effort and energy into it. They're making a good plan, but they don't always get it off the ground because they don't always have the knowledge necessary to really make for a solid foundation. So in my experience, this card for me means a person for the querent who may or may not get things off the ground, who's moving slow, who has good intentions, but may not be able to really follow through. You have to kind of look at the other cards in the deck. All right, so we went over the knights. Okay, so let's go over my queens. I hope I have them all here. Where's my Queen of Pentacles? Nope, I don't have the Queen of Pentacles. So let me go over queens. So queens are more, they tend to be adult people in the querent's life, a grown-up, whereas knights tend to be adolescents and pages tend to be children. Pages can be child to adolescent. Knights can be, you know, adolescent to young adult, like somebody under 30, I would really think of as being potentially a knight. Queens are grown-ups. Once in a while, sometimes they can be a mother, especially if the querent is very young, but not usually. Here we go. Here's a queen. I mean, a page we would never look at as a mother, but a queen might be a mother. So here she is. So the Queen of Pentacles, she is a very solid lady. She knows how to take care of all her things. She's got like a beautiful house. She's got pets. She's got kids. She's got everything. And she takes very good care of all of it. She's going to have a big legacy, okay? She's a very nurturing person who knows how to like keep her wealth intact, okay? Queen of Cups. She's got the most beautiful cup in all the deck. So everybody else in the cup suit, in cups in every single way, everybody else just has this plain gold cup. She's got this beautiful chalice because she is the Queen of Cups. So she has the best emotional quality. She has the most fulfillment. She is emotional fulfillment, okay? Queen of Swords. Okay, so sometimes Queen of Swords, remember I told you swords are a little bit tricky in the tarot deck. They can represent, like, you know, painful and difficult situations because they are hard. They include war and harsh communication or miscommunication, which is where most of our problems come with people. When she's in reverse especially, she can be a real difficult person. She also sometimes symbolizes an ex. If there's several queens on the board, I would say that this queen is the Quarren's ex. Okay, so she can be an ex-lover or some ex-girlfriend or wife of the person that we're thinking about or talking about. But the Queen of Swords will tell you exactly what she thinks. She also welcomes you to come over and let's talk about this. That's the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords pops up. She's saying, come here. If you can see, she's beckoning. She's like, come here, but she's also got her sword out. So she's like, come here. But if you know, I'm going to tell you exactly like it is. And if I find out, you're going to tell me how it is. And if I find out that, you know, you're in the wrong, you will fall on my sword. Because I have one. I don't want to use it, but I will use it. That's the Queen of Swords. All right. Let me go over, where we go? Queen of Wands. Okay, Queen of Wands. Very, very beautiful, fiery, attractive. Unfortunately, she can actually get burned up by her own fire, though. She is a little bit vulnerable to receiving the fire energy, but she's super beautiful, super attractive, the most magnetic person in the room. Everybody wants to talk to her. Queen of Cups is, I mean, all the queens are gorgeous, right? Queen of Cups is also very beautiful, but a little bit more quiet, deep, contemplative. Queen of Wands, you know, real, you know, vivacious personality. Okay. Where's my last queen? Oh, I went over all the queens. Okay, let's go over the kings. So king, also adult, okay? Adult person, usually a male person, but it doesn't have to be, okay? So the kings and the queens are the most likely to be male and female when you're talking about people coming up in the court, but not necessarily, especially the way that gender is presently. A lot of times it could just be somebody who has more of those traits. Like I am, like, as a person, I'm probably more like a king in a lot of ways. Like I might show up as a king in somebody's reading because I have a lot of masculine energy. I come into the room and sort of like take it over, you know, then I'm maybe got that king energy. But in a general kind of way, you can lean towards the king as being a male person, right? So the King of Pentacles, super sweet king. I like him. I would date him. He is a solid guy who wants to share his wealth. He has come a long way in life. He's knowledgeable. Super sweet guy, like the King of Pentacles, okay? Who's the other king I would date? I would date the King of Cups. He's a very loving person, okay? King of Cups has a lot of love to give, okay? His wife is the queen, okay? And she is very much deserving of his love. He has been very selective in giving his love to the queen, okay? The Queen of Cups, who is a deeply contemplative, emotional, loving, caring, nurturing person. And so is the king. So is the king. All right. I would probably not date the King of Swords. I'm looking for him right here. Where is he? Where's the King of Swords? Oh, I missed him. I don't have the King of Swords or the King of Wands. So I'll talk about him as I'm looking for him in here. King of Swords, I said before, I mentioned before that he's capable of war. He's a very smart dude. Here he is. Very smart guy. He's going to win at anything. In a reading, sometimes he represents somebody, like a lawyer or a judge or a professional person, like a knowledgeable professional person, like a doctor. But he is he's in charge of himself. He knows his stuff, and he doesn't brandish his sword over every little thing, but if he does, you better watch out. He's not like the knight. He's not going to come out riding with a horse. But if you fall on his sword, you're going down, because he's quite powerful when it comes to war. He's not fighting over every little thing, but if he does need to fight, it's on. All right, let me see. Who's my last king? My King of Wands. So King of Wands, passionate guy. He's in the suit of wands, like I said. So, more fleeting type stuff, passion, ideas, new ideas, fiery energy. Okay, but he's better than the page and the knight about it. He knows that in order for his passion, his flame, his fire to really last, to really have some staying power, that he's got to kind of stick it out a little bit. Where is he? Where's my King of Wands? I don't see him. He must be over. Oh, here he is. There he is. Okay. So King of Wands, married to the Queen. He's also super sexy. He can represent a very attractive man. Very, very persuasive. Has a lot of good ideas, a lot of smart ideas. Is a little bit more solid than the knight and the page, though, in getting them done, in making that fire last. All right, so there, I went over the court cards, and I'm going to do a reading. So I'm going to do a reading, and I'm going to pretend, well, we're going to do a reading for a person, and I'm going to show you how to pick a significator. You don't have to do that, okay? You can just do a reading and not, pick something. But there are 12 court cards. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 4 times 4 is 16. What am I thinking? There are 16 court cards. I read a book one time that associated each one with one of the zodiac signs, except taking out the knight. So it was page, king, queen. That's 3 times 4 is 12. They were each associated with zodiac signs. Currently, most readers will associate the elements to the zodiac sign. So remember I said wands are fire element, cups are water element. So water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Wands would be fire signs, which are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And then air signs, which is, so on and so forth. So swords would be the air signs, and pentacles would be the earth signs. But what I would do instead, unless you have a person who is very deeply into astrology, if I wanted to pick a significator, because I needed to know really like something about my querent, or I wanted my querent to be represented in my reading, because sometimes you can use tarot to push ideas forward. I would give all these cards to my querent, and then I would say, which one do you feel like represents you the most? Look at the picture and tell me which one you feel represents you the most. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to say, I want to do a reading for the Knight of Cups. So we're going to do a reading for the Knight of Cups. Remember what I said about the Knight of Cups? He wants to offer love. He feels a great deal. He's very charming. He's thought about it. He's sending a message of love. He wants to get a message back. Okay, he's not shy like the Page of Cups, who is maybe has a crush and is sending a message and is like, oh my God, is she going to answer? No, like he's sending out a message of love, and he wants to receive something in return. So let's do a reading for our Knight of Cups. So I'm going to do the Celtic Cross for you again, okay? And the reason is that I feel that this is the most important reading. I feel very strongly that if you start out doing these little tiny readings or trying to do intuitive readings, you will get yourself into a tarot trap. What are the tarot traps? Well, one of the tarot traps is asking the same question over and over and over again and getting the same answer and getting obsessed with it. That is a tarot trap, okay? If you've read tarot cards before, you have gotten yourself into this trap. I am old enough and wise enough to teach you how to avoid getting yourself into these traps and how to get yourself out of them if you do get into them. And the way is to do more expansive readings. Stop doing tiny little readings with one card readings, okay? You need to think bigger. When your thoughts are very focused on one thing, hyper-focused on one thing, you need to look beyond that thing. So do a bigger reading. That's how you do it. But right now, we're doing this for my man, this beautiful man, this Knight of Cups. There's a particular man that I met one time and had a short but nice relationship with, who had a face just like the face in this Knight of Cups. And I don't think it's a coincidence that I kind of let a lot of things go with him, because he looked like the Knight of Cups, and I love me a Knight of Cups. So, okay, so this Knight of Cups, okay, this reading is for somebody who wants to present a love offer, who is not, this is beyond a crush, but this is not quite a proposal. This is somewhere in between. This person wants to present a love offer. Ooh, it's hard for me to say it. I wonder if this is something else is going to come out. You never know what's going to come out in tarot. You gotta follow what comes out. So right over him, I'm going to do his energy. Where is this coming from? Okay, we got Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands, this is where it's coming from. His love offer is coming from here. Now, the Two of Wands, the story behind this card is this man has climbed to the top of this castle. Okay, the Two Wands represent two new ideas. Okay, he's got his hand on one, meaning he is about to make a decision. He knows which plan he wants to take, but he's still looking at the whole world in his hand. He's looking at the earth. He's up on this high place looking at all these things around him. He's considering everything before he makes this decision. So that's where we're coming from with this Knight of Cups. He's really put a lot of thought into it. Okay, my man, maybe this is a bigger idea than we were thinking. Ooh, that's too many. So cards will fall out, but sometimes it's too many. And then I just, I can't do that. 1 or 2, yes. 10 or 11, no. Okay. So let's look at the obstacle, the challenge. What is challenging our Knight of Cups? What's challenging him? Ooh, 5 of Swords. Okay. So this is one card I really don't like the energy behind this card. I mean, I'm trying to get used to it, but I really don't like it, because what this card means to me is this is a hollow victory. This guy won something, but it was at a personal, he was so focused on winning that he wasn't really thinking about what he was winning. And look, he has isolated himself from his friends now. These are his friends with their backs turned. It didn't have to be this way. The communication did not have to go down this way. He defeated people, but the cost was to his relationships. So that is the challenge that our Knight of Cups is facing. Looks like he may have made a mistake. I don't know. We can get clarification on that later, but we're just going to continue with the cross first. So don't clarify until I've done my whole cross. All right, so now we're going to look at what's at his feet. What's at our Knight's feet? What's at his feet? What is in his subconscious? What is underneath? That's what we're thinking of when we place this bottom card. What is underneath? Oh, underneath the Knight of Cups is the Knight of Pentacles. So he wants to come in with something solid, okay? He wants to come in with something solid. That's the Knight of Pentacles, wanting to make a solid offer. Ooh. I didn't even see what turned over, so I'm not going to consider it important. Remember I said, if you only believe in psychology, what you see is what matters. I didn't see it. Okay, so now we're going to look at what's in his head, what crowns him, what's coming out, what crowns him. Oh, we got the 4 of Pentacles. So this is the energy of holding back, okay? He was holding back. Sometimes the 4 of Pentacles, if you look, this guy has 1 pentacle at each of his feet. He's got 1 on his head, and he's holding 1 close to his chest. I mean, he's holding on to this money. Sometimes the pentacles are money. Sometimes it's his feeling of security. So he's only got 4 pentacles. They're pretty big, but he doesn't feel that secure yet. So he's holding on tight. He's holding on tight, and he also may be holding back. he's holding on tight to what he's got. All right. Now let's look at the recent past. Like what is the basis for this? Could be the recent past. It also could just be energy that's no longer that important, that we're moving away from, but that actually created the situation. Sometimes it's not exactly past, but it's the past in a sort of metaphoric way, okay? Sometimes it's not the literal past. Two came out. So that's an automatic qualifier. These two wanted to come out together. We got the 5 of Wands, which means like a competition, or sometimes it's people struggling to work together. It can be, if it's in a positive light. If it's in a negative light, it's just a bad competition. It's something that's not helping anybody. And we got the Hierophant. The Hierophant means structure and order. So how are we gonna look at these two together? We've got structure, order, standing at, trying to help, right? So this is a very immature energy. These are all children that are competing, trying to work together. This is a very mature energy. This is a sort of a parentalish type figure. The Hierophant is, think of it like a priest. The Hierophant is not married. The Hierophant is at his best, the Hierophant is trying to help us raise to a higher level in life, spiritually. At his worst, he's like an oppressive religious, group that's trying to hold us down, or, tell us that we're bad or wrong, or, all that stuff that's brought out in the negative way. But he's not in reverse here. But coupled with this 5 of Wands, and related to somebody wanting to make a solid offer or make a love offer, I'm trying to think of what could this mean? What could this mean? We'll think about it more later. Let's see what energy we're moving into. Maybe when we see what energy we're moving into, the story will start to make sense. So you can see how I'm basically putting the pieces of the puzzle down, and then I'm connecting them as the reader. I'm putting down these pictures, and then I'm creating the story that makes sense with these pictures. That's how I read tarot. Okay, so I got the 2 of Pentacles in our future energy as something that, whatever we're trying to embrace. So we're not moving towards, here we are in the 2 of Wands, right? This is where we presently are, trying to make a decision. 2 of Pentacles is really like weighing the pros and cons. We're not there yet. So the main thing that's going on with our guy who wants to make this love offer is that even though he's a Knight of Cups wanting to make a love offer, and he knows this is knowing which one, and still considering what it would take to get there, right? His obstacle is feeling like he wants to win, holding back, and wanting to have something solid, but maybe not having it yet. And he's not quite getting there. Our guy is not getting there because he's winding up with the 2 of Pentacles, which is sort of a considering my options still energy. So it's possible that back here, that when we're thinking about a person who's making a romantic offer, it's very possible that the basis of his problem now, looking at these 2 cards together, is that he's worried about his competition. So maybe the person he wants to make a romantic offer to has other people she's entertaining. And the fact that the Hierophant is there means that he could be making a moral judgment on that. The Hierophant really frequently represents Christianity, that kind of moral judgment. When it's in its bad way, when it's in its good way, it's helping us, get closer to God or find a way to make our lives more meaningful. But it can be holding us back, paired with this 5 of Wands energy. So I'm thinking that there's some question that he has about his competition, And he may be judgmental about that. He may be judging this person that he kind of wants to make a love offer to, or just thinking that maybe she's got too many options. And if you look at here, it makes sense because he's got Five of Wands challenging him. Maybe he's not really certain if what he wants is what he wants, or if he just wants to win among all these other guys. You know, maybe he's just wondering, hey, do I just want to win this lady? And I haven't really taken time to think about whether she might be a good match for me. So he's holding back. He's holding back on something that he really wants to present that to him is like a solid love offer. It's a solid offer. This is another night, but this is a more solid night than the Knight of Cups. So that's leading him into more of this indecisive energy. He's got some indecisive energy here. So our man isn't really moving forward with his plans because he's kind of stuck. He's kind of stuck. That's what I'm getting from this reading. All right, so let's look over on the side. Remember, I told you on the side, we go over and we do this line on the side. Okay, here we go. We got self. Six of Wands. We got environment. Oh, a tower. Okay, a tower. I think I've talked about the tower before. We got hopes and fears. We got the Knight of Wands. Can you guys see? Yeah, you can see the Knight of Wands. And our final outcome. Come on, big money, big money. Give us our final outcome for our Knight of Cups. What's going on with our Knight of Cups? Oh, we got two. We got the Chariot and the Ace of Wands. Well, that's pretty good. All right. So despite the fact that he's in Two of Pentacles in energy for his near future, he winds up in a good spot here. So cards that I haven't really talked that much about yet. Well, that's what I'm going to spend my time on. Six of Wands is a victory, a celebration, just like it looks. He's got the laurel wreath here. He has won. He is in a good spot. He's getting attention. He's being admired. He's, parading through the streets. This is the self energy that he's in right now. Okay. In the environment, maybe this is whoever he's trying to woo. In the environment, there is a tower moment going on. I talked about this tower. These two people built this tower based on something shaky. They did not have a good basis for their tower. They have been ignoring problems that have been going on with the tower for a long time. Finally, a bolt of lightning strikes and the whole thing comes down. That's a tower moment from which you start over. That's a major arcana. So for this guy, he hasn't had a lot of major arcana. He has here in his environment, this tower moment is a major arcana, and he's got here in his recent past with the Hierophant here, the drawing our attention to understanding how the morality with the competition is playing into his understanding of this. So maybe this person that he's interested in is going through a tower moment right now. And, maybe that's why he or she has other options and other things going on. Okay. So in his heart of hearts, he wants to be the Knight of Wands. He wants to ride in on the horse and, bring it all in. He's got a lot of knights. We have 3 knights on the board, okay? There are only 4 knights in the whole deck, and we've got 3 of them here on the board. So this person that I'm doing this reading for is very much a knight energy. This is probably a young man, probably somewhere between, I would say, maybe 20 to 28, somewhere in that range. This is a knight. This is a young man trying to come in, trying to make his way in the world. Okay. Now here's my outcome. I love this outcome. I'm going to tell you why. So I didn't go over aces yet, so you're not going to totally understand this card. I mean, you might, because you might know a lot about tarot and just be doing my lesson for, shits and giggles. But this one, this is the Chariot. I did talk a little bit about this, I think. There was a video that I deleted, so I'm not sure if it was that one, but I talked a little bit about how the Chariot is about taking the opposite energies and holding on to both of them, holding on to two opposites in order to propel oneself forward. One thing to keep in mind about the Chariot is very much on the physical plane. The Chariot is not a spiritual answer question. This is a physical way to push things forward, and the Chariot is very fast moving. So this is always representing something that's moving fast. Sometimes it can represent a literal car or chariot or something that somebody rides around in. But it is about being able to manage or hold on to the reins of opposite forces. Each of these two, so this one and this one, want to go in opposite directions. And the Chariot, with his mind, is holding on to both of them. And because they're both pulling apart, but the Chariot is the person that's holding them together. It pulls him forward. Okay? So being able to balance two energies in order to make forward movement is a perfect answer to this card, which is the Two of Pentacles, which is having these two energies and not really knowing how to balance them, or thinking about them both and their opposites and which one do I want and do I have to choose one or the other. This means he has solved this problem by harnessing both energies to propel him forward. Has a great outcome. This is a great and positive reading. And the Ace of Wands came out too. So the Ace of Wands is the minor arcana to this, but it's sort of explaining that this is a new idea he has. Maybe what I don't need to do is choose one or the other. Maybe what I need to do is to allow these both to hold on to them both and allow that tension, the tension of the two energies to pull me forward in life. And the Ace of Wands is just kind of there to point me in that direction, that this is his new idea. This is a new idea. Okay? So there you go. I did another reading for you. Very cool reading. To me, this reading seems to be about a man. Doesn't have to be. If it was your reading, let me know. Thank you very much, and I'll be doing lesson 3. Keep an eye out. If you want to see lesson 1, I'm going to link it in the comments. Bye-bye.